This week's episode is brought to you by the home and auto insurance brand Canadians trust most, Intact Insurance. Well, hello there, everyone. I am Jann Arden, and you are listening to the Jann Arden podcast. We used to say "and show," but I don't know why we're doing that anymore. It feels like a show. I'm here with Sarah Burke. She's in her home in Toronto. I'm in my home in Springbank, Alberta. Caitlin is in she's in Halifax now, I think.
She's doing like a whole East Coast road trip with the fam.
Yeah, she's East Coasting it. And Will, her son, turned 2. So that's pretty remarkable.
Wow.
So I've been looking at lots of videos from them. But yeah, it's just me and Sarah today. And we have way too many things to talk about. We started sort of chatting back and forth last night and this morning, sending each other stuff. And I'm like, wow, we got a lot of shit.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I want to start with my Jennifer Garner smoothie.
Okay.
She is going to be on the new Deadpool 3. I think it's out now, Deadpool 3. Isn't it? Anyway,
check.
It looks fantastic. I just watched Deadpool 1 a couple of days ago to remind myself of the franchise origins and where the story is heading with, of course, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and a whole bunch of amazing cameos. But Jennifer Garner is in the new one.
It is out.
And Jennifer, if you follow her on Instagram, she's really super fit. So she's always in great fitness. You can see her doing kind of a squat, and she leaps up like 3.5 feet in the air onto a big foam block. And I trip on a curb. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, her level of fitness is amazing. So she needed to amp it up. She said, I've always been fit, but I've never been Marvel fit. So she takes us through the shit that she does, Sarah. It's just like,
Those are
I don't
box
know
jumps,
what it
by
all
the
means.
way. Jumping on the box, it's called a box jump.
A box jump.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard on the knees. You got to be real fit and suave to do things like that.
Anyway, she's very inspiring. And at the end of it, at the end of this reel, she made herself a smoothie. And it was oat milk and a scoop of protein powder, whatever your choice is, some berries, some chia seeds, a whole bunch of spinach, like a handful of spinach. And I think that, and a bit of like nut seed paste.
Paste? Like an almond butter or something?
Yes, almond butter.
Like, is that what you mean?
So here it is. Mine looks a little different than
delicious?
hers. It's been sitting for a while, so the chia seeds are taking on a life of their own.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
thick now.
I feel it is quite thick, but you know what? Thank you, Jennifer Garner. I needed a new smoothie to have. So here it is. And it's very delicious. Do I look any better than I did 20 minutes
Glowing.
ago?
Glowing. But those are like ingredients in my smoothie almost all the time, except I do tend to lean into the blueberries and banana instead of, sometimes if I have a sweet tooth feeling, then I go for the just banana almond butter, and then
Yeah,
I
there's
add
half
my
a
chia.
banana in here too. I forgot that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of blueberries, but a lot of antioxidants, anything with those kinds of colors. Anyway, moving on. The dog. So last week we talked about Cherry. Cherry is a mixed breed rescue. Sarah has been fostering, and everyone hopes that they're not a foster fail as a foster parent, because you want to take on a lot of dogs and you want to really help dogs get acclimated to being in a home environment.
Right.
So fill us in on what's happening with her.
So she's in the crate right now. Day one, she hated the crate. Like, if she was in the crate, she was crying and sad. She didn't feel it was a safe space, I don't think. And now she's going to the crate and feeling very safe. And she just goes in there on her own. I leave the door open for her, and she goes in there to rest after the walk. So I feel like
in his bag.
Okay. So I feel like the crate training part is going really well. You have to remember, these dogs were all rescued. I'm working with an organization called Backstreet Paws. I might have been attracted to it because it reminded me of the Backstreet Boys, but they help these dogs from a kill shelter in Texas. So they have to acclimate to like the weather, the climate, the water, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the first few days were a lot. Like when we recorded last week, when I had her, it was like the beginning.
Yeah.
And, stomach is not acclimated yet. Like it was runny
Barfy?
poos,
Oh, okay.
barfy, runny poos. And
But
she,
imagine the nerves.
right? It's a
People
lot of
have to
stress.
take into account the
Yeah.
shock on these little systems. They're so
Yeah.
dear and they're scared shitless.
Right. So you have to have this unimaginable patience, right, for
Mhm.
what they're going through. So day one in the house, it was like wet poo, peeing, she was figuring it out. By day two, no accidents in the house. As soon as I take her out, pees on the grass, poos on the grass, everything was great. So I'm so proud of that. And I've been rewarding her. So I think I would say in the 1 week, I've got her trained to pee and poo outside, no problem. She's really smart. She's only 4 months old. And I'm so proud of her. Like every time she pees, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
Trust me, you do that when they're 6. You're like, go, way to go. You did it on the pad or you did it on the
Yeah.
outside. It's
She
always
hasn't used pee
challenging.
pads since day one. Isn't that amazing for 4 months old?
Yes.
So I'm really proud of her. But I think, the food and the stress, I brought her to the cottage over the weekend. There were 2 other dogs there. She loved playing with them. She's so friendly. She loves the other dogs. But I think it just might have been a lot for her. There were other foods and smells around, and yes, she's done a lot of vomiting because she's been on this medicine to settle her tummy, which is supposed to be 7 days, and I've had to stop the medicine because she kept throwing up. So that part is really heartbreaking. And when you see her like a little bit lethargic, but she pops right back into her puppy energy when she's out of the crate. And yeah, so
So
I
what's
feel like
happening now with the medicine? What do you have to do?
so it's like 1 pill for 7 days, but because she's so tiny, I think it was overbearing on her system. So I've stopped the meds right
Why
now.
don't you just break it in half?
I tried that. She was still throwing up.
Okay.
I tried that. Yeah.
Well,
And I
then
added
throwing
rice.
up, not good. I would stop it completely until you talk to your vet.
Yeah. And like, I don't have a vet because it's all through this
Okay.
organization.
Yeah,
So
no more of those pills because
yeah.
that's just an indication she's allergic. She's just not tolerating it well. So
Yeah.
don't even start that up again.
We did some
I'm not a
rice.
veterinarian, but I did sleep with one
Okay.
several years
Okay.
ago.
Good to
Yeah.
know if we need to make an emergency call at
I'm
any
kidding.
point.
I'm not kidding.
Jann, I need you to call your ex.
No, I've never slept with a veterinarian.
Oh, I got excited. So yeah, I did add rice into her food for a little bit. That definitely fixed the poos. Poos were great after
Okay.
that.
So
And
the looming question is,
I know. Don't ask me.
we're just fostering, right?
We're just fostering. I'm
Okay.
allergic to her. I am
Okay.
allergic to her.
But you'll foster other dogs, right?
Yes. So that's the whole silver lining of it. Even though it's going to be so hard to say goodbye to her, I
So
will
when
have
does that
to.
happen?
They're trying this other family from Kincardine before the end of the week. And if they don't respond, then it goes to this Barb, who you've heard me talk about at the cottage. Met her, fell in love with her, trains dogs, has so much dog experience, put an application in. So
Barb put an
Barb,
application in?
yeah. And wouldn't that be great that I can visit Cherry
Oh.
if Barb takes her?
So I like that there is an application process with animals.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that it's just not willy-nilly. We've got 6 boxes in a box. Come by the house and pick one out.
No,
Like all
no,
that,
no.
those fucking days are over, I hope. And folks, if you
Yeah.
run into that, don't do it because it's some asshole breeder or some
Yes.
asshole in general that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think everyone can agree that animal cruelty is just
Yeah.
abhorrent, and we really need to gather ourselves together, good people, and just say no to this stuff and
Yeah.
use your voice. Apathy is so terrible, and I'm not talking about even food that we're eating. I'm just talking about pets, kittens, birds, people having fucking turtles and snakes and shit. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop fucking getting snakes and ferrets and things like that for pets, for God's sakes. Like, just these
Yeah.
animals should be outside doing what they do.
Yeah.
Don't be going into a pet store and it just makes you an asshole. Sorry if
I
you've got
agree.
shit going on and
I
tanks
wouldn't
full
want to
of
do this any other way other than a rescue. I can feel that in my heart that it would change a dog's life if you can do it that way through rescuing a pup. So I did say to them,
good for
like,
you.
let's keep
Every
the eye
experience though
out.
will help her to get used to people and being in a loving environment and
Yeah.
just and it'll be great when she does have that forever home. Anyway,
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm allergic to her. Definitely the Jack Russell part. Her brothers, who I've now seen pictures of, Carlos and Calvin, the cutest. They got more schnauzer, and I feel like those two dogs are probably more hypo than she is. She
Mhm.
got the Jack Russell side,
Well,
I
don't
think.
give up your search, Sarah.
Oh, I told the organization, let's keep an eye out for another hypo.
So, did you
And
do Claritin when you were at my house around Poppy?
no, because Poppy, I'm not really that allergic to.
I say, so Poppy is a Morkie. He's Maltese and Yorkshire Terrier. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a road you need to kind of go down to look for a rescue that's kind of in that realm
Yes.
of,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a shit mix for sure. I'm not sure what is going
Yeah.
on. And he may not be completely just,
Yeah.
um,
I
the
didn't feel
terrier.
allergic to him once while I
Okay,
was at
good.
your house. Whereas, okay, I mean, I know we had mosquitoes on our topic list for today, but I am so allergic to the mosquitoes at your place. I don't know why they're different than the mosquitoes in Ontario, but oh my
Well,
God, I'm covered still.
well, let's just take a little weekender at the
Yeah.
mosquito thing. Here's
Yeah.
why mosquitoes. Okay, ready for this?
I got it in front of me. Yep.
Why mosquitoes bite some people more than others, explained. And this is in Glamour magazine. So,
Of all
hi,
places.
Glamour. Not sure. And it's by Allie Turner, is the woman that wrote this article from July. This article's from July. She says, if you've ever come back from a festival or a holiday and wondered why you've been eaten alive by mosquitoes while your friends have been left alone, there's a few reasons why you might be a mosquito's type. So she goes on to say that mosquitoes really like type O blood. So do you know what your blood type is?
I asked my mom this morning after you sent the article, and
Okay.
I am type A. So I'm the 46.5% and
So
the type O.
type O blood, they garner 83.3% of mosquitoes. And then the type A's only have half of the mosquitoes biting them, less than half, 46.5%.
But think about how much more than all the other blood types, even the type A is, right?
Well, I don't even know how many type A's and type O's. I know nothing about this stuff. I know AB
Yeah.
is really rare.
Apparently I'm type A, but
Well,
yeah,
and then there's A positive and negative, isn't there? Isn't there O positive and negative? Like, what's all that stuff?
I'm no expert on that, but I can tell you that it seems like type O and type A are at the top of what we're talking about.
Okay, well, get this. She goes on further to say, um, mosquitoes find us through carbon dioxide.
If you breathe
So the
more.
bigger you are, the more carbon dioxide you're releasing, putting you at risk. You also, exhale more carbon dioxide after a workout. Or when you're pregnant, you may be susceptible to more bug bites. While humans can't smell carbon dioxide, mosquitoes can, and from a great distance. It's the main signal that helps them acquire a human target. So, note to self, hold breath for as long as possible while running across the yard to water the garden.
Here's
Like,
what checks out though. When I was at your place, I went down to show Aaron the river, right?
after you worked out
See?
and
It checks out.
you got freaking attacked, right?
If I could show you my back right now, they didn't show up until I got back. I didn't
Of
even know
course.
I had them. It could have been the bird feeder morning too, but I
Hmm.
don't know.
God, we were out there for a long time. Those friggin' ants. Anyways, I've enjoyed my bird feeder with the camera
It's
in it.
cute.
Is bringing me so much joy that I may never ever be in a relationship now, because now I have the dog and I have my bird feeder camera.
Yeah,
And
and
it's given me all the thrills, I'm telling you.
Patreon subscribers, you're getting the behind the scenes of the bird feeder. Jan's been posting in there, so
Oh,
go take and you put some on Instagram too. But these little birds, basically, there's a camera catching their every move when they
I'm
come.
doing Patreon little things every day, folks. I'm going in there
I
and I'm
know.
showing people stuff that Instagram and TikTok they ain't never going to see. And no, it's not my nipples, but it's almost as good or bad as that. Okay, I take that back. Anyway,
Quickly,
that's the whole mosquito story. So,
one final thing on mosquitoes, because
okay.
this is an important part of the end of the article, which I found interesting. People who consume beer or bananas were both found to attract more mosquitoes as
Oh
well.
shit. Well, I do a lot of bananas,
Yeah.
so well, I think it's good to know. Listen, my cousin brought me over a new, high-tech mosquito repellent little machine thing.
I saw that.
Tracy, I love it. Doesn't work. It
Yeah.
doesn't work. I feel like the mosquitoes landed on me more. So don't be duped into buying these blue light
I bought
mosquito
one for my
things.
parents at the cottage too, and I would agree. Nothing. It doesn't work. So
Okay, our next topic.
Okay.
Caitlin's, she's missing out. Limerence. Limerence.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
Why do we obsess over people that we don't know or that we just met? So this is an article from Stylecaster magazine. Don't know, maybe it's an online magazine. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Vartika Puranik is the woman who authored this. And you've all heard, your friends talk about, oh my God, I met him last week. He's absolutely amazing. He's so perfect. I'm going to marry him. Or she's so, oh, this is the woman for me. This is my soulmate. We've been out twice. And then you're sending a million texts every day and you're just going overboard and you're buying gifts for this person. Like it is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Limerence so she says, what is limerence exactly? And why are you feeling so obsessed with someone you just met? You don't know them yet and they don't know you. So why are you suddenly convinced you're the one true love? If you can't stop daydreaming about every new potential match you come across, it means your subconscious is calling for disengagement. Let's unpack the meaning of limerence before you start naming your children. So have you got any experience with that? We certainly aren't going to read the whole article, but have
No.
you ever felt this?
No, but I feel like I can think of a girlfriend who just told me she had a boyfriend last week who I'm like, you just met. What? Like,
Oh, she's calling him boyfriend now.
already. And I'm like, the last time I talked to her, maybe 2 weeks ago, she was talking about a different guy. And
Does
I
she
don't
know
get
she
that.
has limerence? She has it.
I feel like I'm going to diagnose it right here, right now. Limerence.
Well, they say your brain, when you like somebody,
Yeah.
you just start firing chemicals like oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. They're positive neurotransmitters. So when people, this is very interesting to me because when you fall in love with someone and you're not sleeping probably, you really are obsessing. Like it's hard to read a book. It's hard to, sit on a date and eat a meal in front of this person because you're just all discombobulated. I fucking hate the feeling of being in love. Don't
Oh,
like it. I hate it. At 62 years old, I can look back at I've been in love several times in my life, for sure. And I just don't like who I am. I don't like who I become. I don't like how my sensibility goes out the goddamn door. Um,
that
it's
I
it's
identify with.
it's really something that I don't think I want to do again. Now, how?
Wow.
Well, you don't have to say it like with such sadness in the tone of your voice.
Well, it does make me sad because, you deserve to be loved and love
No, but
someone else.
that's the whole thing. I don't deserve is a weird little word to incorporate into that. You deserve to be loved. Yes, we all deserve to have great friendships and people that have our backs. But I'll tell you what, being in love is a whole different ballgame, and I think it changes. I hope to God it changes for people that get older. Maybe that's why they
Mm,
have sites for people over 55 or something, dating sites. And why
interesting.
anyone would want to be, 70 and have a 32-year-old girlfriend, David Foster,
Mm.
is beyond me. I think he's 75. Alexa, how
Oh,
old is David Foster? David Foster is 74 years old. 74. Alexa, how old is David Foster's wife? Catherine McPhee is 40 years old. 40.
40.
34 years.
I'm searching the article right now. What about is it like plutonic? Does that come up anywhere in here or it's just like objects of affection?
A plutonic being what? Explain that to us.
Like the obsession you might have of like someone really cool that you want to be maybe friends with versus falling in love with. Was there anything in the article you read about that?
Oh, I see what you mean as far as limerence goes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have absolutely fallen in like with people that I've met over the years.
Yeah.
And I mean that. And that's the greatest, falling in like, because you don't feel like you're going to be going down some weird rabbit hole where you have unrequited feelings. You love this person, but they don't love you.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that a lot in my life. Usually when I, you know, made a move or wanted to go and pursue someone, I was 95% successful. I know that sounds
Yeah,
terrible,
girl.
but I think I chose well for myself.
Yeah.
Well, I thought so at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've fallen in like with people. Cynthia Loist. I fell in like with
Okay.
Cynthia Loist, and pretty much from the moment I met her. Tiffany Pratt, are you out there, Tiffany Pratt? Tiffany Pratt is a new
Oh.
friend that I've met in the last couple of years. I met her on our podcast. We interviewed
Oh.
her. Tiffany has a dog also named Poppy, a wiener dog named
Oh.
Poppy. And Tiffany and I, much like Cynthia, and like I said, meeting new friends is very exciting as you get older because it's hard to
Yes.
do. Tiffany
Yeah.
and I are like sisters because I never had sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And I just absolutely adore her and I would do anything for her. Cynthia's married.
Oh.
Tiffany's quite happily married. I mean, these are people that
You just know with the
I
snap of
don't
your
feel
fingers.
that way about them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there, but it doesn't take away my absolute desire and my affection and my profound adoration for these people.
Got it.
And
That I have had for sure.
isn't that cool? That's a
It
really
is.
cool thing, but you have to be open to it. To have a friend, you must be a friend. So,
Yeah.
there's time involved. But then you have friends that you literally only see once every 5 years. And it's still that solid bond,
Yes.
that relationship. Listen, if you have people admonishing for you, I haven't heard from you for 3 months. They can go fuck themselves.
Drama. That's a dramatic
Totally
friendship.
drama. And that's not what a
Yeah.
friend is. So if you guys are dealing with people like that in your life, it's not a friend. You should
Yeah.
never be admonished for time not spent. It's one thing to stand somebody up 4 times in a row.
Different.
Then you're an
asshole.
asshole, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody's time is important. But if you're literally unable to, like, I'm sorry, I can't make it. People are busy. And then they come back with, well, you know what? I'm just going to stop asking because this is the 5th time that I've asked you to do something.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fuck off. And I mean that.
Great. Read the room.
Get
Great.
away from those people. They're just
Yeah.
vacuous holes of nothingness.
Yeah.
She goes on to say, from the Skycaster magazine, attraction towards someone you're interested in is normal. When you meet someone new and you actually like them, your brain scintillates with feeling good chemicals, right? So we talked about that.
Yeah.
But then when you get into the obsessive part of things, I think that's when it can
There's
go
a line.
sideways. So you've never been obsessive about anyone, honestly, like for reals?
No, I don't think I've been obsessed with maybe we talked about this on the Ask Us Anything episode, but there was a point where I was pretty obsessed with Rivers Cuomo of Weezer, but I was really young then and I wouldn't call it anything real. But as a radio host, I've sure been on the receiving end, as I'm sure you have as an artist, where there's just someone in your DMs that's a little too persistent and, maybe seeing you at events and constantly sending you things. And it's like, I've already disengaged. I need you to leave me alone. You've had that before. I've had that before.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're a public person,
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole other lid that gets lifted off the box.
Yeah.
I think I'm very fortunate that Chris says that they don't tell me about half of the shit. He says that we don't tell you about 99% of the stuff. It's
That's
just
good.
not worth telling you. I think you guys remember us talking about a woman last summer that I had in my cul-de-sac holding up a sign.
Yes.
Now, I think as we discovered a little further down the line, because I sent the videotape to the RCMP, because they need to keep file of this stuff.
Yeah. And you were scared a little bit
She was holding a horse shit sign.
too.
So I think it was something to do with the horses.
Right.
But still, this woman was from 8 hours away.
Yeah.
And how she figured out where I lived, I guess it's not that hard to find out where people live. Maybe I'm really naive.
I don't know. I think if you're using that much energy to find out where someone lives, that's one of the red flags. But
well,
yeah.
Anyway, if it's nice to meet a new friend, and I guess if you're younger or whatever age you are, and if you like falling in love and that feeling
and all of that, yeah,
go for it. But I think I will say this before we move on. Sarah, you are dating. You're out there kind of putting yourself out there and being really open-minded about,
Yeah.
maybe meeting someone that isn't your type, or,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all those things, right? Whether it's body appearance, no hair, some hair,
I
job
don't even
description. No,
care.
but you don't even, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, right? But some people definitely have a type that they adhere to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think feeling in love for you now at 37 is going to be a lot different than when you were even 27. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
Okay, there
I
was a
agree with
pause.
that.
There was
Yeah.
a big pause.
No, I do agree, but I think the biggest thing is staying open-minded, because, even though, I might have some fun over here with someone comfortable, it doesn't mean I want to like end up in a companionship with them, if that
Right.
makes sense.
No, that's good. Playing the field, as they say. And you know what?
And I
Men have done it
yeah.
for centuries,
Yeah.
and it's all good with them. But women, it's
We
always
have
been a very
needs
taboo
too.
thing. Well, exactly. And probably
Yeah.
more so than men. Maybe we're not as driven because we're not.
I'm in my prime. Come on.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because men are in their
Yeah.
prime at 18, 17 or 18. That's their sexual prime. And women are like much older than that.
Around 40, I would say. Yeah, like, or whatever.
So yeah, you're
That's so
there.
fun. I joined a new dating app over the weekend.
What is
Well,
it called and why?
actually, I shouldn't say joined is loose, because it's like I'm on a wait list. That's how
Oh,
elite this fucking app is. You've
is
gone through
it
something
is
like
it
this where you
Rhea?
applied? No, it's not Raya.
Okay.
I was attracted to it. I got an ad for it on Instagram. I was attracted to it because the whole foundation of the app is bringing like ambitious people together for, someone to support your goals and keep you independent while having a companion. And that's maybe one of the like things that haven't worked out for me in the past, like people being like really dependent and me feeling like I'm babysitting someone. So I was like, oh, I'll try that. And then it's like, you are on the wait list, 39,000 people to go. I'm like, oh,
Ahead of
but
you?
this,
39,000 people ahead of
unless
you?
you pay, and I haven't
Oh.
paid. But
And what is the pay, the cost of this thing?
I think it was like $300, no, $400 for 3 months, and 99 for a week, and I was just like, that is astronomical. Like they still,
99 for 1 week.
and that's where I'm like, probably not going to do it, but I'm checking it out. They still send you things, like they send you prospects and stuff, and that's where it's like, I just want to see what it was about. I was curious, and it has this like concierge service, but from everything I've read, now that I've looked up this app after just being on the wait list, it's pretty elitist and it probably won't go anywhere.
Well,
But
keep us posted
of course, I
about
always
that.
will.
Well,
I always
here's
will.
an example of a dating app in the early 80s.
Okay.
Okay? This is really what it was. So, there was a strip in Calgary called, I don't know if it still exists, maybe it kind of does. It was called Electric Avenue. It was all clubs. Places
Welcome
like
to
Coconut.
Electric Avenue. Is that song based off it or no?
No, I
Okay.
don't know. Coconut Joe's was one of them. There was like restaurants. There was the Keg was along there. There was all these clubs.
Okay.
And what they did, let's say on a Wednesday night, from 8 till 11 a.m., it was ladies only. And the drinks were
Oh.
3 for 1. 3 for 1. So if you wanted one gin and tonic, you got 3 fucking gin and tonics for probably $1.25.
Jesus.
Then, so this went on. Women would show up with their girlfriends. I went with my girlfriends a few times. It's 3 for 1 drinks. But we were smart enough to get the F out of there before 11 o'clock. So at 11 o'clock, they let the men in. Now, you tell me, in what fucking world is that? Like, that is so.
I'm in disbelief right
No,
now.
no, I know, but this was a real thing. You guys send me voice notes, send me your messages on Patreon, or send them on the socials, and tell me what you remember about. And it happened in every city. It was a real. It was a thing. It was a North American thing, and it was in the 70s and the 80s. And you'd go in, and it was a ladies' night for a few hours. The drinks, the shit,
Let's get the
well,
ladies
alcohol,
liquored up before the guys
exactly,
come in.
and nobody thought
Oh,
anything of it. Can you imagine a club even daring to offer something like that in the climate that we have now, in the hashtag Me Too climate, in
no.
even assaults and blaming women. Well, what were you wearing? What did you have to drink? That whole kind
Ugh,
of line of questioning. But yeah,
no.
I just, when I read, you know, the article about this one particular club in Calgary, I just was like, wow, I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that
you were
going
in
on.
it.
Yeah, some woman was talking about it in an op-ed, which prompted me to bring it up today. But oh my
Cool.
God.
Not cool, but
Ha-
like,
Is
yeah.
there anything like that now out there?
I mean, I'm not a clubber. I'm really not a clubber. You can probably tell. Like, other than going out, for dinners with friends or to concerts or to sporting events, I'm kind of not the club scene girl. I did at one point go to the clubs, when I was younger, and I was so uncomfortable that I remember being like, I need to be this drunk to even go in the club setting because I hated it.
Well, there's some people that still love going to a club. It ain't me. But you know
It
what? If
ain't
that's what
me.
you're into, and God love her, Lisa. And Lisa and Bev and I are going to Toronto tomorrow for a few days. We're going to go see a ball game. And I
Oh
know the
yeah, the
weather's
Blue Jay
shitty there
sucks,
now.
by
I
the
know
way.
it's all going to be rainy
It's
and crappy. Is
beautiful.
it?
It's beautiful. The sun is shining. Today, no humidity, beautiful 23
Okay.
degrees and sun.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, Lisa,
Hmm.
who's 54, maybe 55. Lisa, I
Yeah.
think you might be 56 now. I'll stop there. I won't keep going higher. She loves a club.
She wants to go
She
in
said the
Toronto.
only problem is she loves EDM music more than life itself. Like EDM music, loves it, loves it, loves it. That's her jam. She listens to it 24 hours a day. She listens to it when she gets
Wow.
up in the morning to put her makeup on. It's EDM at 6:30 in the morning. But she said the problem being is that all the clubs, they don't start until like 11 a.m. or 11 p.m.
Exactly.
She's like going to see some of her favorite DJs that
Yeah.
do this stuff. They don't start till 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Like try going to Vegas to do one of those shows. It's 1 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, so a year ago when I went to Greece, the girls that were with, the girls that I was with,
Yes.
they were big clubbers. We were going out at like midnight, 1 a.m. and it was so hard for me. That's why I'd be like, I need drinks. I don't know. So then once we're in this environment, they don't want to leave until 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I remember us sleeping in the rental car on the side of
That
the
is
road.
hell. That is my hell.
We slept in the rental car beside a castle. I
On this
remember
holiday, all of
on
you
the
are
great
sleeping in the car?
Yeah, because the one girl who was our DD had a few drinks and then it was like, okay, well now we have to wait till the morning, and it was just like
Could
we're
you still
dealing
be
with
arrested for being in a car with keys, sleeping in it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, in this country you could.
Well,
In
I
this
don't know about
country
in
you'd be
Greece.
arrested for a DUI. I
I
think if you're
remember Sorry, go ahead.
no, if you've got the keys in the car and you're
Maybe, I
sleeping in your
don't know.
car and you're drunk, you're going. That's it, baby.
I would give a gold star for not driving home in that sense.
Yeah, but
It's
you
like
still got into your car
responsible.
and got to wherever you were. Like even
Oh
if you're
no, no,
sitting in
no.
a.
The car stayed where it was. We
Oh,
just got in
okay.
and slept there. But that's
Ah,
where we were parked beside a castle.
Jesus.
And I remember we woke up in the morning and I was like, guys, we're still here. Like that was the line that made us all erupt in laughter. We're still here.
Were you hungover?
Yeah, I made the driver Samantha pull over for coffee as soon as we saw, and I was like, I need a croissant, I need a coffee, I need it now. So it was fun though.
That's
We
what a
had a good
holiday's
time.
all about. Listen, you're always going to have those great memories. Like
And Samantha is over 50 years old. So I'm sitting here as the 37-year-old being like, what? We're going out at 1 a.m.?
back in the day, this is
Yeah.
once again the early 80s. A couple of my friends and I'm not going to name names, but we would get into my friend's mother's Cordova, this
Okay.
big land barge of a car. We would drive
Yeah.
across the Montana border. It would take us 3.5 hours to get there. We'd go to Whitefish and we would drink like crazy and go to all these little bars. And I remember like beer being 99 cents. Like this
Oh
is
my God.
40 some odd years ago, right?
Right.
I remember you talk about waking up in a car beside a castle. I remember my friend Teresa brought this up not so long ago. We had all gotten in the car. Elise was such a good driver. She always would have like a couple of drinks. She was never, if she was tipsy, we never knew. And she was a really good driver. She always drove us. But I remember rolling this electric window down in this giant white car with a red leather interior and necking with this guy that was had one leg and was hopping beside the car trying to kiss me, hanging onto the door.
He had one leg.
He had one leg.
I don't understand.
And those are my kinds of memories from clubs and stuff. I mean, I was, obviously 20 something years old, but maybe even younger, 19.
Yeah.
Patrice like, remember when you were necking with that guy? Necking, such a Canadian thing. If you're in America listening to necking, it's basically tonsil hockey. And, but yeah, just necking with this guy, with him hopping beside the car. And my friend just kept driving, and he just stopped. He had to finally stop hopping. He couldn't keep up with the Cordova, obviously. And we just left him there at the side of the road. He probably thinks about me every day.
I'm sure he does. Oh my God. It's funny. I just heard about Whitefish for the first time. Wait, is that what it's called?
Whitefish, yeah. It's great town.
You might remember, like a month ago, I told you I made out with a fellow at a music festival.
Did he have one leg? Because I think I know.
No, didn't have one leg. But this guy has a home in Calgary, a home in Montana,
and Whitefish,
and a home in London, Ontario.
Oh.
And he just said he got back from Whitefish, so I can assume he was just making out at the bars in Whitefish, basically.
Well, listen, yeah, and you used to be able to play blackjack in these bars, and they used to accept checks. I was writing checks all the time to keep playing blackjack.
Oh, wow.
I think back, was that even real? Like, were these people just all so stupid? I mean, these checks, I don't know if they ever went through. I'm surprised I'm not in jail. Like, next time there's a knock on this door, it's probably going to be somebody from Montana coming to arrest me for bounced checks in 1981.
And you're just going to be like, I'm a wholesome person. I have this bird feeder. I've really calmed down.
Yeah, I've come. I never want to be in love again. I don't drink anymore.
Love sober and alcohol sober. Got it.
Love sober. I want a t-shirt that says love sober. Maybe that's the Jann Arden podcast catchphrase.
Is it?
No, it's not. It's terrible.
Okay.
Moving on, complete change of topic. And this has been something I'm just going to throw to you.
Okay.
And that is the choice for vice president with Kamala Harris.
I brought this story in honor of our Caitlin. I feel like, she's got stakes in the race. She's super excited. Of course, we're following, but this was, I feel like, a very Caitlin story.
Okay.
So what was that noise? Is it the bird feeder?
Wasn't the bird feeder. No, I don't. It might be my IUD finally expired. That was the expiration on my IUD. I got it put in 1977 and it grew in.
She's done.
So yeah, I think it just went off. Yeah. 62. It's finally.
Kamala Harris, there's two parts of this story. So yes, she's announced, her running mate. And do you have any thoughts on the running mate? Because I don't really. The one thing that sort of like stuck out is that they're using the word weird a lot in their campaigns. It's like a low key shade. Like instead of like attack, which is I think what Trump does.
You guys are really weird, and I love it.
I do too. I think it's kind of funny in that, I feel like if someone called me, like if someone said, yeah, like that's just weird behavior, I think I would be. It's
hurtful. It's quite a negative connotation.
It's like an internal spiral hurt.
But I feel like I'm a weirdo, which
I do too.
It is kind of optimistic. But if someone comes up to me in a drugstore and says, "You're weird,"
you're fucking weird.
I would be super hurt.
I agree. So that I like the shade. I'm going to call it low key shade that they're throwing that way. But the other really interesting thing, which I thought Caitlin would be super interested in, is this whole like Charlie XCX social media frenzy. Have you seen anything about this, or you need me to totally unpack
you need to fill us all in?
Okay. So Charlie XCX called Kamala Harris like brat. And then I was like, what does the word brat have to do with this? And what does that even mean? So she's explained that this is the rejection of the clean girl aesthetic that we're seeing on TikTok. And she says, who feels like herself, but maybe also has a breakdown, kind of likes to party through it, is very honest, very blunt, maybe a little volatile, does dumb things. It's brat. You're brat. That's brat. And while I don't know a lot about Kamala Harris and that exact definition, associating with this social media frenzy has like the results are in the data. There were 40,000 people when Biden stepped out. There were 40,000 people who signed up to vote in 24 hours, and 83% of them were young people, like these TikTok generation people, right? And Charlie XCX, the album cover for Brat, it's like this green album cover. Kamala Harris put up some graphics that reflect the album cover. So she was buying into what this generation was doing on social media. And altogether, there's a new humongous following for her. And it's kind of like brought this new energy to the race. It's kind of interesting, just the way it's playing out.
Yeah, well, they're talking about her command of social media and how the Democrats have, in a very short period of time, what are we looking at, a month now since Biden stepped back?
I
Not
think it's
even
been 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I think so.
2 weeks. Look at what has happened in 2 weeks. As far as the energy, people are very hyped up. They're very excited.
July 21st is when he stepped out.
Okay, well, people are back in the race, no pun intended again. They're back.
Yeah.
They're hanging off the railings and they're looking at what could happen. And Harris seems really confident. And I like the guy. I don't know anything really about any of these governors.
I don't know
stuff
much
like
about
that.
the running.
But I've been reading up the last, couple of days since it was announced. And I mean, he does a lot of good things, but he seems really sensible. And I love the fact he's going, I cannot wait to have a debate with JD Vance.
Yeah.
And the place just went crazy,
yeah. And he's got association with like Bernie Sanders. So, the circles that he's well known in and the sensibility that you're talking about there is going to be very attractive compared to the opposition. So.
Well, he just seems like he's got that farm background of the everyday man. And, obviously there's a lot that goes into choosing a running mate for a president or for someone running for president. And they ran so many stats, Sarah. They ran so many possibilities. And this thing is AI'd to the max of how the numbers come out, who did what their social media is like, who reacted, his whole legacy now is going to be picked apart, what he voted on, what he didn't vote on. Yeah. But the Republicans have been kind of like crickets. They don't know how to respond to this. And JD Vance, every time he opens his mouth, it's just
stupid.
It's so dumb.
I think in that video that I sent you that was doing like a full review on all the social media between Charlie XCX and Kamala Harris and how it's unfolding, she was commenting on how Trump, what was that noise?
That was just my elbow. I didn't fart. Listen.
Okay. She was commenting on how there's only been really 3 little videos put out by Trump. Like they're quiet compared to what's happening with Kamala. It's very interesting. So,
one final thought before we go, because we do have bonus content to record for the Patreon members. We have like 175, 176 Patreon members. Yes. If you would like to sign up for all kinds of first in line stuff, we're going to be doing our live event is going to be the first week of October. We're going to announce the exact date. We have a venue. And there's a real connection for me and my record company. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a small event. So there's not going to be a lot of tickets. There's going to be about 125 tickets. And the Patreon members have the first dibs at those tickets. And we will let you know on Patreon when the event is going to be up and ready to go. So people will have, the Patreon members will have first stab at that. And then, of course, we'll open it up. If it doesn't sell out right away, which... who knows? Maybe
and
9
sign
of
up for.
Go ahead.
Sign up for our newsletter. We'll tell you in the newsletter all the information about it. But Patreon members, when they click the link, will have first access.
Yes, and we have a newsletter. I didn't know we had a newsletter.
Yes, you did.
No, I did know. And we're going to do some giveaways. I think we're going to do our first giveaway next week. It's going to be some kind of retro merch that I have here in the house. And I'm going to let Caitlin and Sarah know what that is. And so that's going to be available to Patreon. Anyway, it's $5.
A cool Cove giveaway that we're working on too. It's going to be a bunch of stuff, not just soda. So please wait on that.
Oh, that sounds super, super fun.
Yes.
Anyway, before we go away, I just want to ask your opinion on this is not something I would ever do. So Tesla is now going to be using humanoid robots in self-drive cars. And it's not really clear why they're going to be do it. They're starting this next year, and they're just going to have like humanoid robots that are being used internally, I guess, at the company. I'm not exactly sure how this works.
Because minimum wage is lower for the bots?
Well, despite decades of trying, humanoid robots apparently have remained a fiction that never seems quite to catch up with reality. But they're saying at Tesla, finally, they're on the crux of a breakthrough. But people are asking the question, do we need humanoid robots at all? I don't ever want to get into a vehicle or be in a plane. And I know planes are already on autopilot. Any fool knows that. The pilot takes off and lands. And in between, folks, they are sitting there on their iPads or reading a book. Well, I'm just speculating what they're doing, but they're not flying the plane. The plane is flying the plane.
That scares me.
But they take it off.
I wish I didn't know that.
And then, no, they don't. They're not sitting there steering for fucking 13 hours going to Fiji. They get it into the air and then they land it.
Okay.
Like 45 minutes before. So when you think about a car, anyway, the Optimus robot, the Thales Optimus robot, is just one of several emerging humanoid robots. They're going to be coming out like next year. I don't even know. Like a bipedal thing walking around. Like it's one thing to see R2D2 rolling, but a thing that walks into your living room. Oh my Jesus.
Well, it'll be in the car. Maybe it's like just a seated robot. But here's my big question, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you've just put this out that you're going to incorporate these humanoid robots, did you just tell us that your self-driving is done and not working? Thanks for admitting.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's part of the use, but it's tailored for planning navigation, this thing. So I guess that's what the robot would be doing, sitting there, is navigating, like looking out at the road and navigating. Maybe that's it.
I don't get it.
It can identify some commonly used objects. It can carry out repetitious, like dirty, dull, and dangerous tasks. That's what they're hoping to replace. I would imagine it would be picking fruits and I don't know, like any menial tasks that people do repetitively, like an auto factory line, like a assembly line. Anyway, they're coming.
Okay.
Like they're literally going to be out here. We're 5.5 months away from 2025.
That is frightening.
So if you have thoughts about, would you have a robot in your home? They've already offered things. There's things on Amazon that you can buy that will sit in your home. I forget what they're called, but they're like $600 and they sit. It's not Alexa. I'm not talking to you, Alexa, but it's something that's even more than that.
I'm even freaked out about my robo vacuum. Like when I turn that on, I'm not. It's interesting. Even in podcasting, there are several AI tools, right? And I've embraced some of them, but others, like, you know, when you see those videos online and people are really, really choppy, like the video edit just doesn't look good. That's AI.
Okay.
That's when AI has decided your video clips. And where we record our podcast in Riverside, you know, there's, hey, let's use magic clips, and it does the editing for you. And while it's like a great option to have, I think it loses the human touch at that point. However, something like summarizing all the fucking topics that we cover in one episode, I'll take AI for that, for the summary that I can make our own for our show notes. You know what I mean?
Do you do that?
I'll basically cut and paste it, and then I'll rewrite parts of it.
Great.
But you need the human.
Yeah, no, you do need the human. Meta AI came up in my WhatsApp yesterday. So you can just go search Meta AI. It's one of your contacts in your WhatsApp. And I asked it. It said, you can ask me, you know, anything. And it gave me examples of what I could ask it.
Okay.
Are you planning a trip? ? And so I went, what are things to do in Toronto?
What did it say?
It was so fantastic that I don't even know what to tell you. Then I started asking all kinds of shit. I asked about plays that were going. So it's like, it said, how many people are there? I said, there's 3 people. With 3 people, you can easily split costs and enjoy the island's activities. Because I was talking about going to Toronto Island.
Yeah.
So it gave me a whole list of 50 things to do in Toronto. Then I said, oh, I would like to go to Toronto Island. And it's like, let me help you plan your trip. 3 people, you can easily split the bill and enjoy the island's activities together. Here's a suggested itinerary for a day trip to Toronto Island, 9 a.m., arrival and ferry. Arrive at Jack Layton Ferry Terminal and purchase your tickets, approximately $22.50 total for 3 people. Take ferry to Center Island, main hub, 9:30, bike rental. Bikes, $20 to $30 a person. Explore the island's scenic trails and beaches. 12 o'clock lunch. They gave me a whole bunch of, they're literally giving me a breakdown. It is so helpful. 1 p.m. beach time. So eat your lunch.
I love that.
Spend the afternoon relaxing at Hanlan's Point Beach or Center Island Beach. Take a dip in Lake Ontario or simply enjoy the sun.
Don't dip in Lake Ontario. We've already told you.
Okay, 3:30 p.m. amusement park. Visit Centreville Amusement Park for some classic rides and games, approximately $10 to $20 a person for a few rides. 5:30, take the ferry back. Return your bikes and catch the ferry back to the mainland. And it gives me a budget breakdown, and it says my total could be between $142.50 and $222.50. I sat on my couch, and I was just like, I don't even know what to say. Like, do I love this or do I hate it? Like, I didn't know.
I know it's alarming, but it's also so useful.
Then I asked about theater shows. What are shows running in Toronto right now?
Mm-hmm.
The list saved me so much time.
Mm-hmm.
And how much the tickets were and if they were available. Like, it is.
Did you decide what you're going to?
Well, I think we want to go to Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm. We looked at that, the Mirvish, right?
Yeah.
When I was at your place,
the Royal Alexandra Theatre, playing until August 25th.
Yeah, it's a Mirvish show. They sell it on their website. So
but
there you
go on to Meta AI.
Yeah.
And you think you could ask us anything?
Yeah.
Go to Meta AI and ask them anything. Anyway, stay tuned. We've got lots of content coming up. I'm going to be grilling Sarah about how she takes criticism and why people are so, why we criticize each other, why it's such a phenomenal part of our modern society. You know, whether it's canceling someone, just criticizing how they hold their baby, everything. If they have the right dog fucking leash, why would you cut your hair like that? Like, we're going to talk about that on the other side of this podcast today.
Do you want to play some voice notes?
You know what? I'd love to. I love ending the show with some voice notes. And thank you for reminding me. We have some great voice notes from people. We're going to play a couple, and then we'll come back and we'll say goodbye.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with a different one because that's a part 3.
Yeah. Hey there, my name is Jann Arden, and I just want to tell you guys how much I love your podcast, especially Jann. She is so funny and so cute,
nut.
And I just think she's one of the best podcast hosts I've ever heard in my life. Like, I watch or listen to a lot of podcasts, and Jann Arden is like one of the greatest. Like, she just is like light years ahead of Sarah and Caitlin. Like, she just seems so much prettier and like cuter and more shiny somehow. Like, she's shiny the way she handles herself, and she seems to know a lot about like everything.
There's 20 seconds left.
Like, I wouldn't say she's a know-it-all, but
she
just knows so many things.
Cut her off.
Like, so many useless things.
Okay, Jann. Thanks for the voice note, Jann.
Listen, I was making sure it worked.
It works. You see, it works.
Okay, do we have anybody else?
Yes, we do. It's coming.
People don't know what's on.
Hi, Jann, Caitlin, and Sarah. It's Jen from Australia. I was so thrilled to hear Sarah mention the listener from Australia who has winter while you have summer that I signed up for Patreon. However it's pronounced. The real mindfuck for me, though, is Christmas with reindeer, sleigh, and artificial snow during a heat wave. Love your show. Listening for the next one.
Well, thank you for becoming a Patreon member. Sarah, that was all you. Like, do I owe you? Should I give you
$25? No, I'm joking. That's amazing.
Thanks for listening. And yes, we all dream of having hot Christmases, though. As much as we're like up here in the snow and Santa and reindeers and, you know, the frozen North Pole. I'll tell you what, Sarah and Caitlin and I would love to get on a damn plane and come down to Australia to spend Christmas. Maybe we'll do that sometime.
Or we could have her on at Christmas when she's feeling weird. Because I feel like she has said that she used to live in Canada. So.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, we got a few more.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Hi, ladies. It's Rhonda from Calgary. I'm sorry my cat's purring away beside me here. But I just listened to your last episode of Ask Us Anything, and you talked about reading an audiobook. So I just wanted to recommend a book I just finished listening to on the Libby app called Emotional Labor, The Invisible Work Shaping Our Lives and How to Claim Our Power by Rose Hackman. I don't know if you could get this author on as a guest, but I think most of us could relate to her message of how our emotional and empathetic work in our careers, our relationship, and general society is largely unpaid, unrecognized, and yet makes others' lives very comfortable and makes companies a lot of money.
Yep.
And also relatable how we have to perform this emotional labor often for our own safety in this world. I know I could certainly relate on a personal level.
Me too.
And as a healthcare worker in Alberta. And she also mentioned a hashtag that was trending at one point. It's hashtag pay women. So I'm thankful to join your Patreon and give, I know it's just a token, but an appreciation of the emotional labor you ladies do to bring joy to our lives. There must be times you guys feel like utter garbage and you still come and bring it every week and make us so happy. So thank you so much. You're just so loved and valued.
Oh my gosh.
And Jen, I just wanted to send you a little thank you, or a big thank you. I'm coming up on 5 years of my vegan anniversary. Because of you, in August of 2019, I went and toured the Alice Sanctuary that you had posted about. And I drove away that day a vegan and have never looked back. So you changed my life, and I'm just so, so grateful. Love you so much. Okay,
Love
bye.
you. Thank you. Wow. That was an uplifting.
Did that not make your day?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
One more. Last one. Ready?
Hello, Jann, Caitlin, Sarah, and previously Adam. I've been a longtime fan of your podcast.
Hi, Adam.
And concerts, and I've been to a few. I just tried to send one message. I'm not sure if it went through. But I just really wanted to thank you, Jann, for the very special, awesome birthday cameo greeting I received from you almost 5 years ago now. It was a wonderful surprise from my family. And I just loved it and still think of it probably every time I have my birthday. Thank you so much.
Well, the cameos are fantastic. Thank you very much for your voice note. You can find me on the Cameo app. I have the link on my Instagram. I think the link is in Facebook as well. But you just click on there, and it's $99. And I will sing. I've mentioned this before. I've broken up for people on Cameo. I've asked people to get married on Cameo. I've actually done the proposal. I've said like, amazing. Well, it's cool, and it's usually lesbians that want me to propose for them. So I don't think I've done a straight couple, but that's okay.
$99. You can join the League dating app, or you can get a personalized message from Jann.
Yeah.
I'm going with that Cameo.
Yeah, but I won't say how much I've raised. So imagine doing these videos, $99 at a time.
Yeah.
For the last 4 or 5 years, like our caller mentioned. And I've raised, with the help of all these amazing people, hundreds of thousands of dollars. 100% of it is donated to animals all over the world. And Alice Sanctuary is one of the people that have benefited from those Cameo videos.
Amazing.
So thank you. Yes, I know. I've actually, but it's all donated, 100%. Some people say 10% is being given to, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Just
no.
100%, folks, 100% goes. Anyways, we're going to stop there because I can't take any more positivity. Thank you for joining Patreon. Thank you for being vegan. Thank you for thinking about what you're going to eat. Sarah, as always, thank you for being awesome. Caitlin, we miss you. Hope you're having a wonderful time on the East Coast. I'm sure you are. We will see you on the other side of this. Come and join us for more on Patreon. We'll see you next time. Toodly-doo.